Okay, excuse the shades, super sunny right now. This video is about my reactions coming back to the UK after a month away. I went on a month-long trip, 3 weeks in Croatia, 1 week in Serbia. I cannot remember the last time I've been away for so many weeks from the UK. So when you come back, it really does hit you. You really notice the changes. So I'm going to lay out some of the positives and negatives about my feelings about coming back to the UK, how it perhaps compares to where I've been. Now, if you want to watch videos of my actual trip, I'll put some links down below in the description and at the end of this video. So flying back into the UK, what I noticed immediately was how crowded it was, how crazy, how overpopulated London is. That's where I live, I should add. I got on the underground, it was super hot. We were packed in there like sardines and we got stuck between stations in the heat.
The train is now ready to depart. Stand clear of the crossing doors. Please stand clear of the doors. The train is packed. Stand clear of the doors. Stand clear of the crossing doors.
I did visit the city of Split in Croatia. I visited Rijeka too, and I spent a week in Belgrade, and even the city life in those areas is much more relaxed. In general, city life is less stressful. I don't see so much violence. I barely saw anybody sleeping out homeless. I can't even think of one person I saw. Not to say there isn't extreme poverty and homelessness, I just didn't witness it. The streets are much cleaner. The vibe is much better. These countries have got something that we are sorely lacking in the UK. I wish I could just bottle it up and bring it here. And this brings me on to my next topic. The UK does not cope well in the heat wave. There's been a couple of very severe heat waves since I've been away. It's been cooler in parts of Croatia that I've been than in the UK in general, and particularly in London. I immediately noticed how dry everything is. Just look at this. This is normally luscious green grass, and now it looks like the Sahara Desert. Well, not quite as that bad, but you know what I mean. We do not have air conditioners or houses that are good at keeping out the heat. Around the corner from me, I noticed these people were using blankets like I surrender to the heat. They literally thought the only way to get around it was to hang these drapes on the front of their house. Personally, I've been looking around for a new fan. One of my fans broke. Maybe one of those portable air cons that you can vent out of the window. So I went to one of the largest shops here near where I live, B&Q, and usually they have a range of these kind of units. But look, here are the shelves. They've had to stack plastic boxes to fill up all the empty shelves. As I move along the shelf, they've given up. It's just empty. I went on to Amazon, I went on to Argos, another big retailer that has an online site. And again, the same problem. Everything is sold out. Not expected delivery for another 2 or 3 weeks, by which time probably the next heat wave will be over as well. Meanwhile, back in Croatia, everywhere we stayed had aircon units, sometimes multiple aircon units. It makes a huge difference if there's somewhere in your home where you can retreat to get some cool, comfortable air. I absolutely loved it. Moving on to general behavior. So immediately I noticed in the UK, gangs of youths. It's the school vacation, everybody's released, all that pent up energy is out there on the streets. There are some great behaved kids out there, but there tend to be gangs of slightly over exuberant youths who are out to misbehave, cause some trouble, you know, bit of shoplifting, bit of a little fight, just a percentage. I can tell you, I walked around Belgrade for days, I saw no misbehavior by teenagers, young people in their 20s. Super polite, super family oriented, super helpful. Not to say there aren't issues in Serbia and in Belgrade, but I can tell you, if I had a younger daughter, say my daughter was 14, she's not, she's in her 20s, I would let her go out late at night in Belgrade and go to a concert even and come back on their own, 14, 15, 16. In London, I would never allow it. I would be super worried. I would be checking my phone every 2 minutes. I would be telling him to get an Uber home. It simply would not be safe. People often look down on these countries and think they're dangerous. Untrue. It's one of the safest places that I've been to. Okay, let's go back to nature. UK has got some fabulous nature, some fabulous beaches. If you're willing to drive far, you're prepared to really go out and find them and then potentially deal with lots of other people who have got the same idea, particularly at the weekends. Croatia is incredible. It has such an abundance of open spaces. It has so many beaches. You can literally walk around a corner and find yourself a private beach and walk around another corner and another corner, another corner. Of course, there are crowded areas, but it doesn't take much to find secluded, places to go out and chill out and relax. Let's talk about prices and the cost of living. I noticed when I came back after a month, the prices have gone up in the UK. Now I know the prices are going up everywhere, including in Europe, but in Croatia, in some areas, not in the massive tourist areas, but some areas off the beaten track, you can still get fabulous value for money with meals and drinks, and particularly in Serbia as well. As an example, I'll show you this meal that I had in Belgrade. It's in a chain of shops called Walter, and this meal would cost around about £12. I'll put it up in euros and dollars on the screen. You wouldn't get anything like that in the UK for less than about 18, 19, 20 pounds. Also, I am addicted to coffee, and coffee in the UK, like a oat milk latte, don't laugh, that's my favorite drink. It's going to cost in the UK around about £4.50, sometimes even more, £4.70. Whereas in some places in Croatia and definitely in Serbia, you can get a coffee, and more you can find dairy-free options. You're going to be paying about £2.80, £3 for something similar. Moving on to organisation. In the UK, I just noticed the signage is much better. There's a lot of clarity, whether you're at the airport, where to go, where to stand, whether you're queuing up for something. In Croatia particularly, I found this absolute nightmare. Like just getting on the ferry, finding the right place to get on the ferry. There's no decent signs telling you, go this way if you want to go to Hvar. If you're in the car, go there. It's free for all. You have to keep checking Google, trying to use AI to find out where you're going. Get out the car, park it, try and find somebody to ask. Really, really difficult. Also, kind of on that note, driving. I find driving in the UK a lot more easier. The people are much more polite. London, maybe not so much, but as soon as you go out of London, drivers are normally pretty polite. They don't tailgate you. They let you drive at the speed you want to drive, mostly. Whereas in Croatia, where I was driving for 3 weeks, I found Croatian drivers very, very impatient. Now, I understand that if you've got a foreigner or a tourist in a hire car and there's only one narrow road and you're desperate to get somewhere and they're driving slowly, it could get pretty annoying. But I was driving on the speed limit most of the time, and I didn't want to go too much over the speed limit. I was in the hire car, didn't want to get a ticket, didn't want to get pulled over by the police. Even so, I would have, every time I go out on the road, a car right up behind me, about 3 feet away, really desperate to overtake me and overtaking me in a crazy manner. Most people breaking the speed limit all of the time, particularly on the motorway. There are not many cameras on the motorway I could see. Whereas in the UK, we have these smart motorways. A lot of people hate them, but they have a lot of cameras that keep you at a steady pace. The next thing I noticed in the UK is how many shops are boarded up. Literally tons of them are boarded up in my area. UK has become a nation of chains. They dominate everywhere, the high street, and when they start closing, everywhere looks empty. Whereas wandering around a place like Belgrade, I noticed how many small independent shops have been preserved. I know it must be tough for those people, and I'm sure they're struggling economically, but somehow they've preserved the notion of small shop units under flats, providing very specific niche services. These shops in the main are carrying on. They are thriving despite the presence of more and more big shopping centres. Now, I've got to mention diversity. This is not meant to be a political video. Obviously, when I was in Croatia and Serbia, I saw far, far less diversity. And what I did see was mostly tourists. When I came back to London, you are hit in the face by the amount of diversity, by the cosmopolitan nature of this city. And I will say to you right now, I missed this diversity. I did miss it. I missed the variety of restaurants. I missed the variety of food. I missed the variety of the events that you can go and see in London. It's not all a rose garden, I know, but in general, I did miss it. Since I've been away, we have a new Prime Minister, and I did detect when I came back a little bit more optimism, a fresh change. We've been there before, I know that, but Andy Burnham, the new PM, has been revealing every day these new things he's going to do to try and fix the economy. God knows what's going to happen. I do detect a little bit of hope in the air amongst a certain section of people that I know, at least. I probably missed some things, but I'm trying to keep this video short as I can. In conclusion, coming back to the UK, yeah, it's a shock. Actually, the weather being quite nice makes it easier to come back to the UK. There's nothing worse than going on a sunny holiday and coming back to rain and darkness, is there? So the weather's actually helped me get back into the groove here. But overall, I come back to the UK and it's not all that bad, is it? We've got problems, we've got issues. Let's hope it gets better. There's some fabulous things to appreciate in the UK and in London, In the same way, when I go to picture postcard places like Croatia, when I go to Serbia and Belgrade, there are many, many positives there, many positives. Some fabulous things and also some negatives for sure. So overall, what can I say? I'm pretty pleased to be back, but I'm also looking forward to the next trip to go back to Croatia, and definitely I'll be going back to Belgrade and Serbia. Thanks very much for watching this. Please do subscribe and add a comment. What do you think? How are you finding living in the UK now? If you've been away on holiday and come back, what have you noticed?